All right. Hey, this is going to be a video about Kilimanjaro prescribed medicines specifically. The two that you will absolutely need to consider and take based on my strong opinion are malaria and Diamox. Now, if you're watching this video, you may be asking about yellow fever. That is a separate topic that I cover with my adventurers based on their travel and so on. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and cover the malaria uh, and Diamox for acute mountain sickness and malaria. So let's get started here. We want to jump right away into the simple reality that I am not a doctor. All of this is my opinion based on my experience, but guess what? Even that doesn't matter because I'm not a medical professional. So consult one. As a matter of fact, you will have to consult a medical professional to get your malaria meds and the Diamox. So listen to them way more than you listen to me. And then, just as a reminder, always check for contraindications to any of the medicines that you see here in this video or any other meds that you ever take. All right. So, malaria. I'm not going to read all of this. I am simply going to say that it is a life-threatening disease caused by a parasite that is transmitted to humans through the bite of an infected mosquito. Symptoms do include fever, headaches, chills, fatigue, and vomiting. In severe cases, it can cause jaundice, seizures, coma, or death. All right. So this is malaria is a serious condition to consider, and I absolutely have all of my clients take malaria meds, and so I'm going to get into more specifics on this one right here, and let's do that. So I'm going to list these. Again, I am not a doctor, but I am listing these in my personal order of preference based on my decision making variables. So, what I tend to do is go after doxycycline. It is a daily med, which is a pain in the butt. So let's just get that out there, right? So it's a daily med. It's a pain in the butt. It's got to be taken 1 to 2 days before travel, daily during travel, and for 4 freaking weeks after traveling for doxycycline to be truly effective against malaria before, during, and after. So it is absolutely the least expensive anti-malarial. It is one of the biggest reasons that I choose it, but I'll show some other reasons why I don't choose some of the others in just a second here. So again, good for last minute. Good for last minute. Doxycycline is easy to get your hands on. Yes, it still requires a prescription, but it is so easy to get your hands on. So 1 to 2 days beforehand, and yeah. So the as far as the negatives, just read through here, pause if you need to. I'm not going to read through everything. However, I will point one thing out. It absolutely affects your sun exposure. Okay. It will absolutely increase your sensitivity to sun. And when you're on Kilimanjaro above tree line, which happens after day 1 or 2, depending on what route you take, you better believe that you better either be covered or have an incredible amount of suntan lotion that you reapply throughout the day, right? Starting from the time you wake up in your tent all throughout the day. So if you're on doxycycline, it will absolutely will affect your sensitivity to sun. The other thing is the last bullet point here. Um, always take it with food. Always take it with food. Again, I'm not a doctor. I can't guarantee anything. I'm just letting you know that for me personally and for my clients, taking doxycycline with food, that I have not had an upset stomach when I do that. So let's move on here. The next one here, I have taken this before as well, is chloroquine. Chloroquine. Now, here's the negative on this one. It's 1 to 2 weeks before travel and for 4 weeks after leaving. So it's actually again, a longer period. Now, here's the good news. It's not daily, it's weekly. Okay. It's not daily, it's weekly. So you're going to take a I guess, fewer pills. It is a little bit more expensive. And again, not a good choice. Not a good choice for last minute travelers because it does need to be taken prior to travel. All right, let's keep moving here. The next one is Malarone. Malarone. This is another one that can be started just 1 to 2 days. And then the Malarone's benefit here is that you can stop it 7 days after travel instead of 4 weeks. Okay. It is a daily. It is a daily, and it's probably the most expensive. Malarone is probably the most expensive, so do keep that in mind. And again, as always, check with your doctor. Okay, here's one that I don't recommend. Okay, I just straight up, I don't recommend this one. First of all, it's 1 to 2 weeks before travel. It is a weekly, so that's nice. And you have to take it for 4 weeks after travel. So it's the full duration. But and I circled this in red here, cannot be used in patients with certain psychiatric conditions. And here's all I'm going to say. I just don't want someone to all of a sudden discover that they had a certain psychiatric condition on the side of a mountain above, whatever many thousand feet. I don't even care, but I just would rather not be with a group of people on the side of a mountain, especially on summit day, and all of a sudden have mefloquine like show up because all of a sudden you're having psychotic episodes, right? Which is what happens when this happens. So the other thing, and look, holy moly, not a doctor, but again, not recommended for persons with cardiac conduction abnormalities. So look, again, most people don't know that they have that until something happens. And again, I'd rather not be on the side of a mountain on summit day where it's going to take a helicopter to get someone down if we discover that someone's got cardiac conduction abnormalities. So, look, not a fan, don't recommend it, but not a doctor. So there you go. Okay, next is acute mountain sickness. Okay, so Diamox. Oh, by the way, before I continue with before I go to um, so let me just touch on malaria. Do you need to worry about it? Yes. Yes. Period. Okay. Let's be very, very clear. No matter what route you take up Kilimanjaro, the very first day you're in the jungle. You are in the jungle where there are mosquitoes. Okay. Also, the last day on the way out, you're in the jungle where there are mosquitoes. And then, if you're like what most people are doing, you're either your Kilimanjaro base is either Moshi or Arusha, and both of those towns have mosquitoes. The drive to Kilimanjaro from either one of those towns is a fairly long drive, and the windows on the van that you'll be riding with your guides will be down, and it's going to be hot, warm, humid air, and you must be concerned about malaria. You must take malaria precautions. All right, so I just want to make sure we're really clear. Let's move the Diamox. All right, so altitude, acute mountain sickness is common altitude illness that occurs when you're at high altitudes for too long without adjusting to the lower air pressure and oxygen levels. Yeah, symptoms can range from mild to life-threatening and include headache, nausea, vomiting, fatigue, dizziness, and shortness of breath. Symptoms usually should start within hours of arriving at high altitudes, but can take up to 24 hours. You'll see what I mean by this in just a second. Here's the risk factor. Like this, man, I could go on for a while on this one. Okay. The faster you climb, the more likely you are to get AMS. One of the reasons that I purposefully choose the longer version of the possible Kilimanjaro treks, the routes, is because of this. Is 100% because of this. We have made it to the summit every time. Uh, to be fair, we had one year where the weather absolutely took us out, but it wasn't the altitude that took us out. Okay. But I hear so many stories of other guide services turning their clients around on summit day because they chose to do a 5 day versus the 7 day that I take. Okay. And it's just insane to me. It greatly reduces the chance that you're going to summit. I've literally watched every single year on summit day, people coming down the mountain as we're on our way up. And it's because they were on a 5-day version or a 6-day version instead of the 7 or 8-day version that I have my clients do. So, anyway, the last thing I want to say here is the best way to avoid altitude mountain sickness is there at the bottom. I'm just reading this straight out, is to ascend slowly. Okay. If you live below 5,000 feet, you should avoid ascending quickly and avoid sleeping above 9,000 on the first night. By the way, really crazy fast. I know this is a Kilimanjaro video, but let me talk about my what happens all the time with Machu Picchu. Okay, with Machu Picchu, let me share what happens. People are like, I'm going to fly into Lima. Lima's great, no problem. Then they're like, I'm going to go fly into Cusco and I'm going to go do all the things in Cusco. And guess what? Cusco's at 11,000 feet. At 11,000 feet, there are so many stories of acute mountain sickness because people didn't realize that Cusco is at 11,000 feet. So what do? Well, that's for my Machu Picchu video. But I'll just say this: fly into Cusco and then get down somewhere else. All right, let's keep moving forward here. Let me pause because of the lighting. All right, no more lines across the face here. All right, let's keep going. So, the next thing is, y'all, I want you to look at my face here, and then I want you to look at this picture. This was my very first time that I went to Kilimanjaro in 2021. I went by myself with a guide group, and this picture of my face is the day after summit day. Okay. I did not take Diamox my first year, and this is what I woke up and looked like the day after summit day. And by the way, just so you're aware of something, like I'm actually like right now today, this picture of my face, like I'm actually fairly heavy right now. Like I'm not at my lightest weight by a long shot. I absolutely promise you I was lighter in the picture that you see right here with this swelling and this edema that you can see. All right. So just think about what I'm saying here. Like I'm heavier right now than I am in that picture, and look at that face. And that's because of the swelling from a low grade acute mountain sickness after summit day of Kilimanjaro, my very first year. And I have taken Diamox every year since. So, all right, now let's talk about it. All the following is my opinion based on my experience and has absolutely no basis in medical fact. All right. But here's how I handle Diamox on the mountain for Kilimanjaro. All right. So I strongly recommend that people get the 125 or the 250 milligram tablets and not the 500 milligram capsules. Okay. Let me explain the next two, and then I'll explain why I'm saying this, right? So what I recommend is that people start with 125 milligrams the morning that they reach 9,000 feet. So whatever day you're going to hit 9,000 feet, that morning, I want you to start right like I start 125 milligrams. And then I only take them in the mornings, obviously, unless we're treating actually, right, acute mountain sickness. Totally separate topic, right? But if we're taking them as preventative, 125 milligrams starting the morning of the day, you'll reach 9,000 feet, and every morning thereafter until you're off the mountain, and only take them in the morning. So why am I bringing this up? Because you will have to urinate more once you're on Diamox. And what you absolutely do not want to do is take your Diamox in the afternoon or worse in the evening, because I promise you, you will wake up so many times during the night if you do that because you have to go to the bathroom. And that's a massive problem because sleep and food are the recovery tools on Kilimanjaro or any mountain expedition. Sleep and food. Sleep, food, and water, right? So if you're waking up 5 times in the middle of the night because you took your Diamox in the afternoon or evening, you've just destroyed your sleep. and one of the most critical factors to your success in reaching whatever summit you're attempting to reach. Okay. So finally, on summit day, again, this is not based on medical fact. Let me just say this again, based on my experience, not on medical facts. On summit day, take 250 milligrams at breakfast. I put breakfast in quotes because breakfast is typically like midnight for summit day on Kilimanjaro, and then another 250 at the summit. Right, that's how I personally handle Diamox on summit day, and then of course, unless treating actual acute mountain sickness. Okay, so I've got one more thing to get prepped here. Hang on just a minute. All right. So I wanted to give you a massive, massive tip. Like, so the obvious question is, all right, like, how do I get this stuff, right? How do I get the doxycycline and how do I get the Diamox? And while you could absolutely schedule an in-person visit, I'm here to tell you that a teleconsult is going to be so much easier to do. Very, very, very likely going to be either free or a copay. It's going to be very inexpensive. You're probably going to be able to log into whatever medical provider or insurance company that you use and get a teleconsult like in minutes or hours as opposed to days trying to get onto a doctor's schedule. So I'm just letting you know, like, I've only ever done teleconsults. This will be my fifth year to go to Kilimanjaro, and I've only ever done teleconsults. And this is what I do every single time. And they love this story. They love that I show up prepared. They love to hear that someone's showing up on their teleconsult doing something ridiculously cool instead of, right? Hey, I'm sick. What do I do? Right. So, like, this is a fun conversation for the doctor or the nurse or the PA as well. So, this is what I do. Literally, hey, doctor, thanks for your time. I'm heading to Tanzania to Summit Kilimanjaro. So I'll need to grab some Diamox. Hey, I'd rather not have to pee all night. So could I get the 125 milligram capsules instead of that crazy 500 milligram? Uh, I should, sorry, you know what? That should say tablet. Tablet. Okay, not capsule. Sorry about that. So, right. And then yeah, and then once we've had that bit of conversation, right? They'll ask some questions and everything like that. Uh, then you'll continue with, hey, also Tanzania is a malaria country. I've done my research, and I would prefer. Right, this is where I say doxycycline, but I just gave you a bunch of information, so you're welcome to say whatever you'd like to there. But include this next phrase. But let me know if you recommend something else, right? And one, you want to alert them, get their mind woken up to their standard operating system of, okay, contraindications, and I need to ask this question about this and this question about this, because what if we have missed something in our research, right? What if we have? So again, one more time. Hey, doc, thanks for your time. I'm heading to Tanzania to Summit Kilimanjaro, so I'll need to grab some Diamox. Hey, I'd rather not have to pee all night. So could I just get the 125 milligram tablets instead of those huge 500 milligram capsules? Also, Tanzania is a malaria country. I've done my research, and I'd prefer blank. But hey, let me know if you recommend something else, just in case I'm missing something. Right there, you go. You will be done, like, just saying, you're going to be done the same day, as opposed to having to schedule in the future and drive there and deal with possibly the doctor being late and all of this stuff. So anyway, I hope this helps. If you're one of my adventurers, let me know if you have any questions, and we'll go from there. Take care, be awesome, stay adventurous. Talk soon. Bye now.